Good afternoon. My name is Tom Martin from Martin Law PLLC in Washington, D.C. And we are so happy to be joined today by Demi Yeager. She's going to talk to us about wellness. And I actually met one of her colleagues, a gentleman named Britt, at a conference several months ago. And he put on a really great presentation. And I wanted to make sure that my clients and other parties sort of in my orbit would have the opportunity to hear about these opportunities to improve wellness and fitness and happiness amongst your employees. Um, Here we're starting the fourth and final quarter of 2025, and I know there's a lot of economic uncertainty here in the DC metro area, but I think it's more important than ever to make sure that employees and small business owners are taking good care of themselves with their physical and mental health. And so I thought it was a very timely time, if you will, to get Demi in here to talk to you about her programs and how she can be of assistance to you and your families and your associated businesses. So I also want to put in a shameless plug for her that I have invited her back in the spring. We'll see how economic conditions are looking at that point, but I wanted to at least do the introduction now and welcome her sort of into the Martin Law PLLC circles and give you a chance to hear directly from her. So without further ado, Demi Yeager, thank you.
Hey y'all, Tom, thank you so much for having us. Work-life wellness is such an important, activation that people can bring into their companies because wellness is so important, but no matter what hat you wear in your small business, you probably know that you have a ton of other things going on. So most of the time, as you're listening to this, if you are the small business owner, you are the maybe, CEO, COO, or you work with HR, you know that you wear a lot of different hats. And whichever hat that is, I want you to know that wellness can look different depending on whether you're managing people or you're trying to really manipulate, influence, and lead from the top. Cool. So, one thing as we're looking at workplace wellness is that we want to consider stress. I think it's so important. I hate to start off the first 60 seconds of me sitting here and being really excited about what we do by talking about stress, but the reality is, how many of you think that stress has gone up or you've recognized that stress has gone up like in your team this year, right? As you can see here, statistics don't lie. Well, of course, they're wrong, right? But statistics don't lie. 83% of US workers report work related stress. I would be willing to say that's probably 100% of workers. Those other, 17% might just not be reporting. Workplace and stress is something that's universal for most folks. I want to talk about how that's showing up for your people. So sit and think for a second. How is stress showing up for those people that, like Tom mentioned, are kind of a part of your household, right? Your family. Small businesses are much more intertwined and have a lot more like energetic transfer, if you will, than these large corporations. And you see this, you probably feel it. The moment I said stress, you probably thought of that most stressed out person in your workplace, or maybe your own most stressed out moment recently. We really want to find a way to help to navigate that. And that's why workplace wellness exists, right? And the thing is, most of the time, it's not that your staff or yourself or your C suite, it's not that they don't want to feel better. It's that companies don't have the systems or the staff in place to make wellness easy, simple, and a seamless integration. Well, so that's exactly why we started Work Life Wellness. As you can see, we're founded by three fitness professionals who are extremely passionate and started the business right in the DMV area, in a place where there's the highest traffic congestion in the world. I saw we just got that award the other day. We've got people who are extremely focused on success. We're a bunch of driven individuals. You could find the most driven hourly employee in America, probably in the DMV area, and you probably see that in your small business as well. Our goal is to combine the expertise that we have in our like foundership, as well as the networks that we've created and the professionals that we have created as far as like our talent is concerned to integrate with business, to not only empower your organization at a top level, but in the way that you're daily interacting with your employees, and really revolutionize the approach to wellness in the workplace, whether that's a large corporation or a small business like yours, where the payouts can very much be exponentially grown by investing in your people. Cool. So, some of the barriers that we see when it comes to investing in wellness, specifically for businesses across the board, small business as well: budget, right? We're doing the budget, we're having this presentation and this conversation more so here in Q4, but budget is always a top concern. I run a small business myself, and I know that we're constantly budgeting, and our top priority is our team, because without our team, we don't have clients, we don't have product, we don't have deliverables. That team needs to be the most important part, and that kind of takes us to this second component here. Fair, right? Which is the idea of there's no dedicated wellness staff. I'm sure, think back to the very beginning when I started talking, you thought about all the hats that you were wearing. Do any of you feel like you're wearing the designated wellness hat? Could you name the person in your organization who is wearing the designated wellness hat? Might be hard for you to do that. Comes down to time constraints and figuring out what truly sticks. My favorite word that my clients have loved to tell me for years, really sticks out to them, is leverage, right? And so how can we leverage what you already have working super well for you in your business to take you guys where you want to be from a wellness perspective? That's exactly why we do what we do. So our approach is built into 3 signature areas of transformation on an employee wellness level. Energize is our first pillar approach. You can see a photo here from one of our Energize events. This is probably what a lot of you guys think of as that gateway to corporate wellness. It's the workout class, it's the yoga class, it might be a breath work, it might be we've got a whole category of these things, right? A spinning class. Maybe some of you guys like to ride to the beat of the music, right? That is what a lot of people think about. Even going out in nature and hiking. I don't think we've done a swim-based one yet. Tom and I were talking about swimming. I don't think we've done a swim-based one yet, but we maybe could. Funny plug about me: I was a synchronized swimmer in high school. There you go. Now you know something more about me today. Our second pillar here is educate. Now, I'm going to be honest with all of you. Educate is the most important one for me, in my opinion. I worked in the lobbying industry. I worked in the Department of Justice. I also taught group fitness classes. Kind of worn a lot of different hats, going back to our hat analogy, right? Educate is so important because this brings tangible, tactical strategies directly to your staff. This is our catalog of presentations and events and activations, if you will, that I'm really the most proud of, because I believe that this is what really moves the needle for people. We've done talks on financial wellness to blue collar, male employees at a company. We've done talks on stress and control and the burnout cycles to high level, it was a women's event that was awesome, right? Talking about where we're spending too much energy and where we're really burnt out, and energy management, all these things. And then lastly, our third pillar is recharge, right? So these are retreat style events, health fairs, the ability to rebuild focus and connection. I know that we're chatting, we're having this conversation in 2025, but some people are still making that entrance back to the office 5 days a week. Some people are still very much so working on a screen, like we're having this conversation right now. And so how do we build in, community morale? How do we build in collaboration? How do we pour back into and focus more so on teams in a way that makes your small business leverage that community to bring more success? and to lower a lot of these indicators that pull away from employee success. And I'd like to dig into those a little bit with you guys as well. So, why do we do it the way that we do it? It's fully turnkey. One of my favorite acronyms is DFY, done for you. Again, you're busy, you are doing what you're doing, whether it's a good busy or a bad busy. You want to be able to unplug at 5 p.m. and you don't want to be pulling the strings on this last minute wellness event. Good, you don't have to. That's why we've done it the way that we've done it. So we handle from retention, engagement, data collection, account management, handling finding the perfect instructor or presenter or facilitator for the transformation that you want to have from these style of events. So we'll start with employee interest surveys. When you collaborate with us, we will send out, we have a survey that we send to you. We can brand it towards your business, send it out. You can figure out, what do people actually want? You don't need to walk around the office with your clipboard ready to ask what's everyone in the mood for that day. People might not know what they don't know. They don't know what's available to them. So we'll send out that employee interest survey, and you will work with your account manager to get the appropriate event set up for what your employees have said that they're interested in, as well as what you've noticed as the person that has your finger on the pulse of employee wellness to an extent in your company. Then we'll recommend which service, again, of these kind of whole catalog of options that would work the best for you, or we're happy to come up with one. A big reason people choose to work with us is that they don't need to go, putzing around looking for a yoga class here or a stress management seminar here or the best person to do this. We've done a ton of vetting and have created a really amazing team of talent. And we use the word talent on purpose. These are very talented wellness individuals that are able to dedicate their time due to the system that we've created with them. We do vendor and venue coordination. Again, you don't need to spend time using Google, or I think everyone's new favorite is ChatGPT, to figure out what's going on. We'll handle that for you. And again, we'll handle the branded flyers, internal communication, buzz building and post-event reporting. And then let's go into this last one here in a minute. Let's kind of touch on this marketing for a second. I get it. We were all just chatting about marketing before we hopped on, whether it's email or social media or LinkedIn, which is a kind of a social media, it's a collaborative media, that we're all so online, but how do we show, right? You guys want to be able to show that you are investing in your employee wellness. We'll go into this in a second, but there is a huge percentage. I think the number is 87%. I'm not there yet on the slides, but 87% of individuals choose the workplace that they want to work at based on how the workplace is pouring into their employees. Huge number, huge number. And so we want to make sure we're giving you assets to be able to market that as well. So you'll have, photos, short form testimonials, any video footage from any events that you all collaborate with us for and contract with us for. You will get them so you can use them for your marketing. I work in marketing full time, and we always say everything is content, and everything kind of is content, but it can be hard when you're in the moment of, you're the HR professional, you're rushing around, you're trying to make sure everyone's, butt in seat, ready to go to snap those photos. It's kind of like the busy mom on Christmas Day. She kind of forgets to get the content, right? We want to make sure we lower that issue or overcome that obstacle with you. So we've created a process around that. And lastly, for those of you who love to deal with your insurance broker, but maybe don't know how to deal with your insurance broker, we're going to help you there. We're going to kind of tag in as your offensive line coach and go with you and your insurance broker to make sure we're running the right plays and utilizing the insurance funds you already have afforded to you. And all you have to do is tag us in with your insurance broker, and we'll run back and forth. We've done this with Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna. Those are the top two that come in my mind that I've recently helped coordinate with, but we have the ability to do this. So again, we'll handle the heavy lifting, pun intended, and you can just continue to stay in your zone of genius. These are the 5 pillars of why we believe that wellness is really the approach that's going to take workplaces to the next level. Yes, AI. Yes, systems. Yes, infrastructure. Yes, all these things. But when it comes down to what we can control as business owners and as employees, we want to empower those employees to control these five things that they are able to control. And you, as the business owner or HR professional, you're able to influence. And that's so important, right? We can concern ourselves with things that are not in our control at all. But what if we just dialed in to our mindset, our movement, our nutrition, our recovery, and our community to really radically change your workplace culture? That's what work life wellness is all about. Okay. So these are the main facets of what we do and how we can provide these micro to macro level transformations within your employee body. So, as an example, we talked about this briefly, our Energize, Educate, and Recharge events. These are just a little bit deeper into our categories of events. Most of the time, people are joining in with us at our Educate Wellness seminars or our Energize events. As I'm sitting here today, October 9th, we're actually at a health fair and wellness expo right now. Some of our team is there, which is super exciting. But we love building an event that is tailored towards your employee body, like what you guys need, what your community is looking for right now. We've done breathwork seminars at a fly-in event, right? Where, all these associations are sending just one person to Washington, D.C. to have an event. And they've probably never met each other in person before. And we want to, quickly foster community, quickly lower, whatever types of weird vibes might come from being around your employees in person for the first time. And, create that melting pot, go into an event where people can get a really great benefit out of it together through our Energize and Educate events. And then a really custom approach to a health fair, wellness expo, or even retreats offsite. You can see some photos here at the bottom of it looks a little bit like a dance, but it's a breathwork and movement seminar. We could also dance if you'd like to, though. I will not personally participating in dancing, but you guys can all go for it. I'm not much of a dancer myself. So this is where I normally ask people, think about that really fit person at your office. So think about it. As you're watching this back, think about that person who's in shape. We'll all close our eyes. We'll think they walk in, they've got their shaker bottle in one hand, they've got one AirPod in, they're listening to whatever, Nelly song, millennial. It's always a millennial, right? They're always jamming out and rocking in the office with their lunchbox. They're in good shape. And you also notice that they're there a lot. They're at work a lot. That's because these statistics I have on the screen right now don't lie at all. This is the impact of regular exercise on employee attendance. Now, when I worked in an office setting a million years ago, we had a gym in the basement. It was at 13th and F Street, downtown DC. We had a gym in the basement, and there were at least 50 employees in my office. And if I remember correctly, there was like 12 stories of the building that were full of employees. I really only ever saw 10 people in that gym. But I also noticed a lot of things about those same 10 people in the gym. Not a flex that I was in the gym a lot, just letting you guys know I was there. So what we're thinking on is who are those people? What are they doing? Well, they're in that gym a lot, which also means they showed up to work that day, right? 150 minutes of exercise per week, about 5 hours missed at work, right? Only 5 hours on average. Crazy. In contrast, people who exercise less than 70 minutes per week miss 19 hours of work. That's crazy. That's a huge number. So whether you're an HR professional or you're sitting and listening to this, you run the optimization, what's the word I'm looking for? You're the finances, right? You're trying to grow the business, you're focusing on growth strategies. These hours, they mean a lot. They say a lot for what we can get done in your business. And that's of no surprise. And here's the statistic I was talking about earlier. I'm going to capitalize on this right here. It's of huge importance. 87% of employees consider the health and wellness offerings when choosing an employer. And I know that some of you, your immediate thought as a small business owner listening to this is, well, we can't compete. Without sounding too contrarian, I think you can. You can compete. You can bring these health and wellness offerings to your employees. And I want to show you guys a couple options of how at WorkLife Wellness we've created a bit of a different approach to meet small businesses where they're at. We'll go into that in a moment. So just set that one, put a pin in that one for a quick second. Let's look at some of these other numbers. I'm a numbers person. I don't know if anyone else is, but numbers mean a lot to me, probably because math was my favorite hobby as a young child. But a couple big ones for me here. 72% right here of employers reduce their healthcare costs due to implementing a wellness program through tax incentives, grants at a ratio of 6-1. It's incredible. What does that look like? It looks like knowing what you already are paying for, tax incentives, insurance, etc., and how you can leverage that to get to where you want to be to offer these health and wellness services to your employees. Perfect. We're leveraging, right? We're right back. We're right back where we're at. Then if we're looking at another one here that means a lot to me, this one right here, 56%. And again, these numbers are about 3 to 5 years on some of these. So that increased, right? People are now more cautious about this overall. We're looking at one right here. 56% of employees who participate in company wellness programs say they have fewer sick days, less stress due to these programs. So I want to highlight one word because vocabulary is important. I'm sure we can all agree on that. Tom's a lawyer. He's like, yeah, words are very important. The words are the most important thing. Yes. Participate. We can't just have a program. Team, we can't just have a workout class and hope that folks go to it. No. That's why if you think back to what we were talking about our strategic approach, we get people involved. We want to know what you're interested in. What would you actually participate in? And we also have the branded flyers and the internal communications, emails, we'll either script them or send them out for you so that we can get the benefit of this 56% of actually getting people involved in it. Because the statistic, to the right of that is the one that should scare you the most. It scares me. And I've got a team of about 7 people who work for me. And when I saw the statistic, I contacted every single one of the 7 people and I said, we need to talk about this. Only one of you realistically feels supported at work to manage their mental well-being. That statistic radically changed how I run my small business. And I think it should change how you run yours as well, right? 15% of employees feel supported at work in managing their mental well-being. That is why our educate events happen, right? A workout class is great. I was just telling Tom a million years ago, I used to teach group fitness classes, and Deloitte, EY, these big companies, they'd send out, at the big law firms, they'd send their first years, right? They'd funnel everyone into a workout class. You just worked from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., billing 12 hours, and now I have to go to a mandatory workout class. That's crazy, right? I don't think that's what people are looking for. What if instead we provided those 85% of people, the other flip of this statistic, what if we provided them with ways to manage their mental well-being in the workplace that also didn't involve a lot of, kind of blurred boundaries in the workplace? If we were able to provide stress management, burnout coaching, breath work techniques, micro ways to, integrate into the realities of your workplace for them to manage this well-being, I think that would be a worthy endeavor, right? That 15%, ooh, that gets me every time. It changed the way I run my small business, and I hope it does for you too. Because when people say small business can't compete, we'll go back to that 87%. This is how you can, right? Is programs like what we do pay for themselves through retention, 1, performance, 2, and we even directly work with your insurance, as I mentioned, to give you your time back as an HR professional or the person who seems to always be wearing all the hats on initiatives of this nature. So again, our corporate programs are designed to hit all of these buckets here. I'm not much of a screen reader myself, so I'll leave that for y'all. But the three that stick out the most to me as someone who also runs a small business and has been integrated in the corporate structure in DC for a decade. And I like to always make my joke about my one day of law school and I dropped out. I went right to that workplace, thought I was going to get a couple more years of school in, but I just couldn't do it. Number one, employee retention. Retention is so important, right? When your employees see that people love where they work and they love staying, your company is able to advance initiatives without letting things slip through the cracks and having to constantly onboard that new person at that Thursday 3 p.m. happy hour again, right? Let's be celebrating those 5-year marks, those 10-year marks, those 15-year marks, instead of that next new associate through the door every 9 months. I want to look at another one here, lowering the risk of chronic disease. I'm a fitness professional at heart. That is what I've done for 10 years. And I truly believe that the future of fitness and wellness is functional and it starts in the workplace. We can't create this rigid friction of work exists opposite of life, right? Work exists inside of life. And if we can figure out a way to build a more productive approach to work-life balance, that means creating work that doesn't make us want to run away to life, And then another one here that's super important for me, right, as someone who runs my own business as well, is reducing these company healthcare costs. We can't be constantly spending on, reactivity when proactive approaches exist. And that's exactly what we do with companies just like yours every single day. Team morale, great. Love that. Love increased productivity. But at the end of the day, if we're keeping people there, we're keeping people healthy, and we're keeping your costs down, I think I can get 3 big thumbs up to all 3 of those things. This is how you get started with work-life wellness. Again, we touched on this a little bit in the past, but number one, we're going to do a wellness check-in survey. We'll meet with you as the, kind of the ringleader of this initiative in your company, or tag team. I've got a slide to share with you guys here towards the end. QR code, make it super easy, scan in, see some quick information to get my finger on the pulse of where you guys are at. All right. We'll develop a program based on your team's needs, and that can involve getting that input from your employees, right? We want something that they're going to use, something that's going to benefit them. And sometimes having that third-party form where they can let us know what's going on helps to take off that pressure, especially in a small business environment of needing to feel like that, oh, well, we're all good. Whatever works. That's probably not the case. We saw the numbers. From there, we'll begin internal marketing for your event. We'll equip you with what you need to turn out. Kind of like our GOTV, right? Get out the vote, but we're trying to get out the people, right? Get people involved in the process. We'll handle that. All that heavy lifting is on our end, okay? Let's just take that from you quickly. We'll track your progress, both the individuals and group. So the initiatives of the process the program and the progress overall, as well as soliciting feedback from your employees. I know it's hard to get that. It's hard to get feedback from people. Let us take that over for you. You'll work with your account manager to identify and explore areas for growth. So what worked? I just had a meeting like this with one of our accounts at Penske, the big yellow trucks, the other day, going over what worked well for our last few events with them. And once you get people starting to talk and they're going to start to bring ideas to you. I really want to do this, or I saw this other company doing this. I want to do this. That's awesome. Because you know what that means? It means it's working. It means people are excited about what you're investing in. That's several thumbs up over here. I only have 2, but if someone would like to loan me a thumb up. And then from there, we move into continuing on in the wellness journey. The idea is that this is an easy implementation. It's an easy yes from your employees to say, yeah, I'd love to be there. I think this will really bring value to my role in your organization. So if you don't remember anything else from today, is that we got to start small. A lot of times we bulldoze initiatives like this. Someone has a great idea in your organization. They put a lot of time behind it, and then we forget about the things that are important. Utilization, getting people to show up, getting results from it, right? Remember the word we said that was so important is participating, actually getting them there, and then leveraging that with data to continue to get results and to optimize. The other thing to know is we got to get leadership buy-in early. Culture really flows from the top. So whether you're the decision maker in your company or not, I'm sure you make a lot of decisions. I always say, who's a decision maker when you're deciding where you're going to go out to eat for the night? And when I'm talking to, a couple, they both seem to be the decision maker. I'm going to leave that with them. But for you, what we need to decide is what's important in your company right now, and how can we make sure that we're aligning with those priorities through wellness initiatives? We are, everyone in work life wellness, we're all business owners as well, small business owners. So we know that you have priorities, growth, KPIs, certain OKRs, right? I love an acronym that we're just trying to hit. That can be supported by wellness. This doesn't need to be another lane. This can be a foundation builder for those initiatives. Third thing here, quick wins. I want you to watch this video and take an initiative in your office today. Even if I don't speak to you right away, I want you to take one initiative, right? What can we swap? Small swap. What about a stretch break? What about a coffee break? Go walk and grab a coffee really fast. Breathe some fresh air. Things like that are so important for your workday. You cannot pour, now I'm talking to you one-on-one right now. You cannot continue to be a successful member of your team and a contributor if you haven't contributed to A1 first, right? To you, right? We've got to put something in that A1, like an Excel sheet. You got me? We got to put something in A1 so the whole function can flow. You have to give something to yourself first, truthfully. I know you hear that all the time, but if I could be one other person to say that to you today. And lastly, we want to make sure we're always measuring success. And this kind of ties into what I was saying here at the top. But we inside of Work Life Wellness really focus on data and analytics for growth and continued program success. I would recommend that you do the same as well. It can be easy to just look this far in front of our nose and see what was, good yesterday or today, but measure success in other ways in your life too. If you're taking that work break, you're taking that step away from your computer and you feel like you're about to slam your head through it, whatever those things are, track the results you get from activating new ways in your daily life to lower stress, to focus more on your mental health and well-being, even if it's not some grand plan. Perfect. All right. So I want to go ahead and thank you guys all for being here, for listening to this, whether you're listening to it live or you're catching us on a replay. Thank you for taking the time to consider this. We know this is so worthy and important, and we are a team of people who spent, probably a combined 75 years of training corporate, stressed out, mentally burnt out professionals in the greater Washington, D.C. area, as well as, small and large cities across the globe. And we know that what we do on a health and wellness side, if we could integrate that into the workplace so that work exists inside of a life that people feel successful in, we know this is important. I know that it's important too, because it's why you're watching this. We just got a little bit of that question mark of, how do I fit it in with everything else that I'm already doing? Okay. And that's where we come in. We'd love to have that discussion with you. We've got something that's specific for small businesses. So just like you, we've got a incentive, something that is tailored towards your needs. Because like we spoke on before, remember, it's, you think small business can't compete with corporate perks. You can, right? We are bringing huge corporate level strategy, structure, internal marketing, retention mechanisms, all these things directly to small business without you needing this huge wellness budget, huge team. So 40% off of our normal event investment for you guys specifically, okay? And again, no need to gatekeep. If you know other people who own and operate small business, that this would be something that's valuable to them. We can get this slide to you directly so that you're able to share it with other people. This offer is valid through the end of 2025. all you need to do is scan this QR code. You'll fill out some brief information, like we said, that kind of that interest form, and then you'll book a call with either myself or one of our co-founders to gauge where your team is at and exactly how we can create something that would work for you. No pressure, right? Just a place to have a conversation. And for those of you who are navigating all of this employee wellness stuff as like the one spearhead person in your organization, it might feel good to talk to some other wellness professionals about it. Cool. So again, grab this QR code. We would love for you to fill this out, book a call with us, see how we can really navigate some of those kind of scary statistics back on the statistics slide, right? 15% of people feel supported in their like mental well-being in the workplace. And I think you guys want to be a part of that change, right? We want to be a part of the other side of that. Cool. We look forward to chatting with you guys soon on this. Have some time here at the end for any sort of Q&A, and rather than maybe grabbing Q&A here at the end, if you guys have questions, you can feel free to submit them to Tom, right? This is going to go out over email as well. So if you want to, reply back in an email, you can feel free to, the easiest way would probably be to book this call, get some of those questions answered there. I'll go over some of the main questions that we get, even though I feel like we've probably covered them, but go over some of the main ones that we get. And Tom, if you have any questions, you can also pepper those in here. One of the things that we get is, so how do we work with insurance, right? Based on your insurance package, it is customized, which is why we do prefer to chat with you directly and not make blanket statements, waste anyone's time. That we can work directly with your insurance broker to figure out what wellness benefits or what's the word I'm looking for, credits that you might have available with the insurance that you're already paying for, and how we can maximize that. Think about your employees who have like HSA, FSA at the end of the year and they're wondering what to do with that. You're probably in the same boat, right? Unless you've already capitalized on those incentives already. So that's a main thing that people ask is like, how do we do that? Super easy. Once we're tagged in with y'all, we can coordinate with your broker. We're even happy to do that ahead of any sort of contract or event on the schedule and just see what might be available. Happy to do it. Another question people ask often is this like a workout class? Yeah, if that's what you want, right? If that's what your employees would want. But thinking back to kind of the middle of our presentation here, some events or activations that we've seen work really well and get a result where the employees, they look lighter when they leave, right? They kind of look refreshed. It's almost like someone puts a quick filter on a photo, right? We just instantly, look a little photoshopped. Is our stress reduction seminars, our breath work and movement. We also can do virtual or in-person events. So if you've got a team that's maybe half here, half somewhere else, that would make 3 halves. Anyways, they're spread out. We are able to provide, recordings. We are able to host a hybrid event where maybe some folks are in person and we're broadcasting some of it. Fully equipped for 2025 needs, right? For the world that's a lot of it happening on Zoom these days. And another question that we tend to get is, well, what do I do now? I'm interested, but maybe I've got some questions. I don't know what to do. Well, first things first is let's hop on a call. We can discuss what initiatives you have, maybe even things you've had in the past. Maybe you've done wellness events in the past and they were not so great. We can get feedback from you on that and counteract to even see if this would be a good fit for your organization. Our main thing is making sure it's the right fit and making sure we create the program that makes the most sense for you. And that all starts with having a demo call. So we'd love to do that with you. Any other questions? Tom, do you happen to have any?
I don't have any questions, just a comment. I was really pleased with your presentation. I particularly honed in on the part about controlling what you can. That's the thing that I hear. As a lawyer, you're also part shrink, and that's the thing I'm hearing from so many small businesses is I can't control tariffs. I can't control the shutdown. I can't control so many things. And you really stated the key to it, which is really controlling those things that are in your basket that you can control. So thank you for that and for the rest of your presentation. It was very much appreciated.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, just to kind of piggyback off that, and we can wrap on that for those of you who've stayed through the end and you maybe need a little bit of coaching or something on your whatever day you're listening to this, on your day that ends in Y, is our control loops, right? As a business owner or an HR professional, or maybe you're running ship on operations or marketing, whatever it is, we've kind of got these three layers, right? The things that you can control, the things that you can really only influence the outcome of, and the things that, like Tom said, the economy, tariffs, people's opinions, things that you can't control. If we can just focus our energy in something that, like, something we can control, that 15% number, we can increase that, right? We can make people feel more supported in the workplace. We can, that 87% number of people who decide where they want to work based on what the company, excuse me, offers for wellness, we can control that, right? You guys can, that's in your control. And I think that's super important to remember where that's at. So yeah, thank you for that, Tom. Again, if you guys have questions, I'm going to flip back to this slide and make sure that you can grab this QR code and scan it, book a call. All you need to do is, again, quickly put in your information. It will send you a link. It will transfer you to be able to book a call with someone on our team, and we'll walk you through what might be a good fit for you and go over things that you maybe, if you've tried something in the past and it wasn't great, or you have ideas and you're not sure how to connect the dots. That's okay. That's what the professionals exist for, and we're happy to do that. Cool. All right, guys. Well, again, my name's Demi. I'm with Work Life Wellness, and we are so excited for the opportunity to support your team in whatever way would make sense for you guys. And we'll talk to you soon.